Nobody teaches introverts prediction. They teach you to speak up. They teach you to network harder. They teach you to become somebody you're not. But almost nobody teaches the one cognitive skill that quiet people are already built for: the ability to predict. Because once an introvert's brain learns to predict accurately, the room stops being intimidating and starts being readable. Now, let's begin. Assignment 61. Why your silence is actually data collection. Here's what nobody told you. The thing extroverts call your weakness is the raw material of prediction. You hang back. You watch. You process before you speak. The world calls that shyness. It isn't. It's data collection. You've been running the first half of the prediction engine your entire life, and nobody ever taught you how to finish the loop. Your brain has been predicting since the day you were born. Someone throws a ball, and before your hands move, your brain has already clocked its speed and arc. Someone starts a sentence, you already know how it ends. Someone shifts their tone in a meeting, and something in you tightens before you can explain why. Prediction never stops. It's running in the background every second of your life. Here's the problem. For most introverts, it's running on fear instead of evidence. Autopilot predictions come from habit. Habit comes from repetition, and your repetitions are loaded. Every awkward moment you've replayed, every conversation you've rehearsed at 2 a.m., every silence you interpreted as rejection. Your brain is guessing from old data, and most of that data was written by anxiety, not reality. That's the real reason perceptive people misread rooms. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's outdated software running the show. Assignment 61 shuts that off. From here forward, no more unconscious predicting. Every guess your brain makes has to become visible. Every assumption gets dragged into the light. Every conclusion has to be earned, not defaulted into. Exercise 1. Catch your brain predicting. Your first exercise. For the next 24 hours, catch your brain in the act. Before someone replies to your text, pause. What do I think they're about to say? Before you open your inbox, guess what's waiting? Walking into a meeting? Predict who talks first, who interrupts, who folds, who stays silent. Watching a conversation, call the misunderstanding before it lands. You're not trying to be right. That's not the point. The point is noticing that you're guessing it all. Because the second you predict on purpose, your attention changes. Information you used to scroll right past suddenly matters. Patterns that were invisible yesterday start jumping out at you because your brain finally has a reason to collect them. That's the trick nobody tells you. Prediction rewires attention, and attention is what people mistake for charisma. The most magnetic, quiet person you've ever met isn't seeing more than you. They're looking with intent. That's upgrade 1. You stop absorbing rooms and start reading them. The 4 buckets: fact, assumption, emotion, noise. Now, let's fix your input. Predictions don't fail because you're not smart enough. They fail because the input was garbage to begin with. And introverts have a specific contamination problem. You don't collect reality. You collect interpretations of yourself. Someone glances at their phone while you talk, and it becomes proof you're boring. Someone doesn't reply, and it becomes a verdict on your worth. Eventually, the brain is predicting off information that was never true in the first place. Assignment 61 kills that at the root. Split everything you take in into 4 buckets. Facts, things you can verify. Assumptions, things you believe with 0 proof. Emotions, how you feel about what happened. Noise, everything else, pulling your focus away from the truth. Say someone doesn't text you back. Average brain, I said something wrong. That's not a fact. That's a story. The sting that follows is emotion, not information. Replaying the conversation 11 times is noise. The only actual fact, they haven't replied yet. Nothing else has been confirmed. One small, boring event just became an entire narrative about who you are. And the second the narrative starts, every prediction after it is warped. Exercise 2. Reality collection. Exercise 2. Reality collection. For the next 7 days, every time something significant happens, write it down and split it into the 4 buckets. What's fact? What did I immediately assume? What emotion showed up? What's just noise? Slow at first. Annoying even. But after enough reps, the habit flips. Instead of reacting, you separate. Instead of assuming, you check. Instead of building stories about yourself, you gather evidence about the world. Because prediction was never about raw intelligence. It's about the quality of what you feed the machine. Flawless logic, false premise. Your brain hates a gap. The moment something's unclear, it fills the blank on its own. Someone doesn't smile at you. Your boss says, "Can we talk tomorrow?" A friend goes quiet. Nothing has actually happened yet. One piece of real information came in, and your mind wrote the rest of the script. And here's what makes it dangerous for you specifically. Introverts don't just assume, they rehearse the assumption. You run it. You refine it. You build a whole case with airtight logic. And that's the part almost nobody grasps. Bad assumptions can produce flawless reasoning. Your thinking can be immaculate and still be built on a lie. Logic on a false premise will always land you in the wrong place, no matter how clean the thinking was. That's why you cancel plans that would have gone fine. That's why you don't send the message. Not because you're weak, because your assumption was never audited. Exercise 3. Interrogate the assumption. Your next drill. Every time you catch yourself predicting, stop and ask, what am I assuming right now? Write it down. Then interrogate it. What evidence backs this up? What evidence contradicts it? What don't I know yet? Don't move on until you've answered all three. Your brain wants closure fast. But real intelligence is often just the discipline to sit in, I don't know, a little longer. That extra minute of discomfort saves you months of cleanup. Average minds remember events. Sharp minds remember patterns. That's the whole gap. Ask someone what happened in an argument, and they'll give you the play-by-play. Ask a strategist, and they'll give you the structure underneath it. Your brain doesn't have unlimited storage. It can't hold every conversation, every misread, every silence. It doesn't need to. A pattern compresses hundreds of moments into one reusable model. Watch 20 people dominate meetings. Different jobs, different personalities. At first, it looks random. Then it clicks. Most of them aren't smarter. They just speak before they're certain, while you wait until you are. 20 stories just became one rule. And one rule is worth more than 20 memories. Exercise 4. Pattern compression. Every night, take one thing from your day and write down the pattern underneath it. Not the event. No, she cut me off. Right. People interrupt when they sense hesitation. Not I froze in the meeting. Right. I freeze when I'm auditing my sentence instead of shipping it. Not only did he get defensive. Right. People get emotional when identity feels attacked. You're not journaling. You're building working rules for how humans behave. Do this long enough, and you recognize the shape before the moment finishes playing out. Halfway through a conversation, you already know where it's going. Not because you're gifted, because you've seen this shape before. That's the real skill behind sharp negotiators, investors, and investigators. Most of them are quiet. They're not reading people. They're recognizing patterns. Now, the weakness almost every introvert shares. Falling in love with the first future your brain imagines. And yours is almost always the worst one. One event, one imagined outcome, a catastrophe. Case closed. But reality never moves in a straight line. Sharp thinkers force their brain to sketch several futures. Not because all of them happen, but because the exercise drags out possibilities the brain would otherwise ignore. Exercise 5. Future simulation. Write the decision at the top of a page. Then map 5 outcomes. Best case, worst case, most likely case, the one you didn't expect, and the one you haven't thought of yet. For each, ask, what actions lead here? What early warning signs show up first? What can I do today to push toward the good version or steer away from the bad one? You'll notice something immediately. Your catastrophe was never the most likely case. It was just the loudest one. That's the shift. You stop reacting to whatever future shows up and start shaping it. Emotion pictures one future. Reason pictures several. Calibration. Check the scoreboard. Plenty of people make predictions. Almost none of them get better at it, because nobody's checking the scoreboard. They guess, they forget, and life moves on. Imagine trying to improve as an archer without ever walking up to see where the arrow landed. From here on, every prediction that matters gets written down. What you predicted. What actually happened. Why. And when you're wrong, don't ask, why did I mess this up? Ask what information I missed. One sends your brain hunting for evidence. The other sends it hunting for reasons to hate you. You already know which one you default to. Every decision you've ever made was a prediction wearing a decision costume. Trusting someone. Staying quiet. Not applying. All of it. The quality of your life tracks the quality of those calls. So before any decision that matters, pause and ask 4 things. What future am I predicting here? What evidence backs it up? What evidence pushes back on it? If I'm wrong, what does that actually cost me? The 30-day prediction protocol. Finally, calibration. The 30-day prediction protocol. Every morning, make 5 predictions. Through the day, collect what's real. Sort fact from assumption. Watch for patterns. Every night, score it, correct it, and ask what you missed. 30 days in, something shifts. You walk into rooms you used to survive, and you read them instead. Warning signs show up before the problem does. You stop rehearsing conversations because you can already see where they go. Prediction was never about seeing the future. It's about seeing the present more clearly than the person next to you. And you were always the one in the room, quiet enough to notice. That's assignment 61. The only question left is whether you'll finally train it.